1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Just practicing my TikTok moves. I just can't seem to get it right. All this worry about resolutions. You know, the usual ones. There's my kind of list. It's pretty long. It's always about me, actually. But I never seem to get these resolutions right. Got to keep practicing it. Anyway, thanks for joining me this morning. And this day, as on New Year's Eve, as we wait for the big day, the next year, 21. You know, this year's been a strange year. The most unbelievable year we could have. But it's actually highlighted two things. One is how much we care, how much people we've often not thought about in a way, but how meaningful they are to our lives and how important they are to our lives. So many of us have experienced loss over this year. Let's take a moment to think of all those people who've experienced loss this year. Many of you have also suffered from a loss of well-being. There's so much anxiety, so much fearful, but in these times we've seen hope, haven't we? We've seen people like Captain Tom Moore and the way he raised money, or high-profile footballers like Marcus Rashford focusing on feeding the poor and the vulnerable. And one of the top-selling books has been by my friend Charlie Mackesy, The Boy, the Horse, the Fox, and the Mole. I think I've got it in the right order, maybe in the wrong order. But it's a book that tells stories and tells in picture forms and little snippets how important hope is. And you'd have remembered that comic relief, love wins. Care was shown by our medical staff, by key workers, the Amazon delivery people who came along delivering food, and so many volunteers this year who got round into the community to look after people, to buy food for them, to deliver food, just to ring round and think about them. Care was a big factor in our year this year. It's highlighted how strong, something that we often miss out, care working, looking after people, came to the forefront, and it's something that we're going to take into 21. It's about hope. The second aspect was about individualism, about us, and a sense of loss of our freedom. What would it be like? So many things we take for granted, like our freedom, that we can go out to restaurants, that we can go to so many different places, that we can come freely to worship. And suddenly they were gone. And it created a huge well of fear that could be the way of explaining it. Fears about these losses. In fact, both these aspects, care, needing to be cared for, needing to show love to someone else, and then the individualism, the fear of loss of freedom, all point to somebody bigger, more powerful, somebody who cares for us, somebody who drives away all those fears, and somebody who wipes away tears and is in charge, is in control, and cares about us. It's a living hope, and that's who our God is. At this time at Christmas, we remember that Jesus came as a vulnerable baby, experiencing all those very things we do. He burped, who knows what other biological process he conducted. But his mother Mary had to wrap him up in swaddling clothes, had to look after him, had to feed him. He was vulnerable, and he came into our world. He showed us how much God cares for us and how much we matter, even as individuals, as each person to him. So I'm thinking about resolutions. I can only think of one resolution that actually makes the change that we all need. And that is to become a worshipper. The one thing we can offer back to God is our adoration, our sense of awe is to stand in front of God, open-armed, open-hearted, and say thank you and worship Him and receive His hope. My resolution, and what I want to encourage you in, is to receive this living hope of God. Receive God the Holy Spirit. And start the resolution of becoming a worshipper in 2021. Wherever you are at this moment in time, I wish you all the very best for 2021. My hope and my prayer is that your dreams would be realized and that this living hope of God becomes living life in you. Have the very best 2021 and look forward to meeting you and seeing you next year. God bless. Now back to my practicing for my TikTok video. It's so important. I've got to get this right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Oh, I'll never get it right.